The Taos Hum. It's not every day that we come across something that baffles scientists and researchers to the point where they just give up trying to find an answer. But there are several instances in which researchers have thrown their hands up in the air and given up after exhausting all possible leads. The Taos Hum is one of these unsolved mysteries. If you've never heard about it before, this is a brief overview. This is the story of the bizarre humming sound that has plagued the residents of Taos, New Mexico for decades. While the world was sleeping peacefully, some people were being kept up by a constant humming noise coming from nowhere. It's like someone was always nearby playing a tuning fork or a guitar at a low volume. That's how the sound has been described. In 1998, Frank and Thekla were among the first to report hearing this strange noise. They were living in Taos, New Mexico, and they said that the strange humming lasted for about 2 weeks. Since then, the number of people who have reported hearing the humming has grown steadily. According to some estimates, at least 2% of the local population hears it regularly. However, others say that as many as 15% of the residents have experienced it at one time or another. At first, the couple assumed that the humming was coming from inside their house, so they checked the water heater, appliances, and even the refrigerator, but nothing seemed to be out of order. Then they started checking their neighbors' houses, but everyone told them that their house was silent. Finally, when they checked everywhere and found no source of the noise, they realized that the humming was coming from outside. It was faint, but it was definitely audible. They could hear it day and night. Sometimes it was louder and sometimes it was softer, but it never stopped. The couple went back home and tried to sleep, but the sound was so loud that they couldn't. They didn't want to bother their neighbors, so they called the police. The officers came over to see if they could find the source of the sound, but they too were left baffled. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't find the source of the noise. They could hear it themselves, but they couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from. After spending hours searching for the source, they finally had to give up. When this happened, only 2 people had reported hearing the noise. Today, dozens of people claim to hear the same humming noise. And the most puzzling part is that nobody knows why this is happening. Some of the people who have heard it say that it sounds like a bass string on a guitar or a tuning fork. Others say that it sounds like a transformer or an engine. Some people say that they can hear it constantly, while others say that they can only hear it occasionally. Regardless of what it sounds like or when it happens, the noise has been driving the locals insane. But that's not all. There have also been other weird occurrences that cannot be explained. In addition to the humming, many of the residents have also reported experiencing other strange things. For example, some of them have reported seeing balls of light moving around their houses, while others have reported seeing strange lights in the sky. There have even been reports of UFO sightings in the area. These strange occurrences have led many people to believe that there is some kind of paranormal activity going on in Taos. All of this started back in 1998 when Frank and Stella first heard the humming. The couple couldn't take it anymore, so they called the sheriff. He sent over a deputy to check it out, but he couldn't find anything. The humming continued for 2 weeks and then it stopped. Frank and Stella thought that everything was fine now, but the sound came back a few months later and it was even louder than before. It seemed like someone was tuning a giant guitar string right outside their window. This time, the humming lasted for 3 months. At first, it only happened at night, but soon it could be heard during the day as well. Despite the fact that it was almost always present, the sound was never recorded properly. Scientists and researchers came to the town to try and figure out what was causing the humming, but they too were left empty-handed. One of the most baffling things about the humming is that different people seem to perceive it in different ways. Some say that they can hear it all the time, while others say that they can only hear it occasionally. Still, others say that they can hear it whenever they close their eyes and relax. Another odd thing about the humming is that it seems to affect different people in different ways. Some people say that they find it annoying, while others say that they find it relaxing. There are even some people who say that they enjoy the sound. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the humming is the fact that it has been going on for decades and no one still knows what's causing it. Many people have moved away from Taos because they couldn't take the noise anymore. Others have stayed and tried to make the best of it. But whatever the case may be, the humming has definitely taken its toll on the residents. So what exactly is going on in Taos? Well, unfortunately, there is no real answer to this question. The truth is that we simply don't know what is causing the humming. Over the years, many theories have been proposed, but none of them have been proven. Some people believe that the humming is caused by a gas leak, while others believe that it is the result of some kind of electromagnetic phenomenon. There are even some people who believe that the humming is actually a form of torture being carried out by the government. Of course, there is no evidence to support any of these claims. In 2012, a group of scientists from the University of New Mexico came up with a more plausible explanation. They believed that the humming was actually the result of a type of hallucination known as the bilateral stream. This is a condition in which people hear a phantom sound that is not actually there. The problem is that this theory does not explain why only some people hear the sound while others do not. Additionally, the hum has been going on for far too long to be considered a hallucination. What's even more interesting is that this is not the only case of its kind. In recent years, there have been similar reports from all over the world. People in Australia, Canada, China, and the United Kingdom have also reported hearing strange humming noises. And just like in Taos, the authorities have been unable to find a logical explanation for these sounds. Perhaps the most famous case of a mysterious humming noise occurred in Bristol, England in 2017. Thousands of people complained about hearing a strange humming noise that seemed to be coming from the city's airport. The noise was so loud that it could be heard over the roar of airplanes. Authorities investigated the noise and concluded that it was most likely the result of construction work at the airport. However, this explanation did not satisfy everyone, and many people continued to hear the noise even after construction work was completed. Another similar case occurred in Perth, Australia in 2018. Thousands of people complained about hearing a strange humming noise that seemed to be coming from the city's power station. Again, the authorities investigated the noise and were unable to find a logical explanation for it. In conclusion, the Taos Hum is a real phenomenon that has baffled scientists and researchers for decades. While there are many theories about what could be causing it, none of them have been proven. What we do know is that the humming has had a profound impact on the residents of Taos and other places where similar sounds have been heard. If you've ever heard a strange humming noise that you couldn't explain, let us know in the comments below. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.